and welcome back to the channel. Today we have an unboxing for you. Just arrived this morning. We have the Creality Falcon 2 22 watt diode laser. So it came in two boxes. We're going to start with the smaller of the two. This might be a honeycomb structured platform, but let's see. It is. So this is going to be a surface that we can put our items on to be engraved. It's made from some kind of steel, assuming that this steel sheet goes flat on your table, and then the steel honeycomb web goes on top of it to protect your working surface. So let's get rid of the foam. So the idea being, at least in my mind, having not looked at the manual yet, it would look something like that. So as we know, as a casting and jewelry channel, the better air you get in your kiln, the better combustion you get, the better burn you get. So presumably this is the same thing here. You get some nice open air, you get a better burn when the laser makes that contact. So let's actually open the box with the laser in it and see what parts we have and what assembly we need. Oh, okay. Which side's up? This side's up. Okie dokie. Let's take this a bit out of the way and let's get into this box. Well, hopefully, considering how large this box is, most of it is going to be assembled. Okay, so let's take our first look, shall we? So it looks like we have a handy operations guide, which is going to be good. DIY group link. Looks like they have a nice workflow here on how to set it up, so that will be handy when we actually get into the use. Quick guide, so I'm assuming this is going to have all of our assembly instructions in here somewhere, showing me how to put this together of all of our parts. Can I take some of this foam out? Okay, so it looks like for the most part, she's actually pretty assembled. This in itself looks like it's our laser unit. So as I mentioned in the intro, this is a diode laser. So it's actually using 4 6-watt LEDs stacked there to make the full 22-watt cutting power. So let's set that to the side. Looks like we have some feet or other mounting material, a little brush, a USB cord, and a wooden plate, I guess, to test cut. Actually, these are the feet. So those other components are probably some spacers. What are you? Oh. So it looks like this is going to be our air pump, and it should have an attached filter as well, so that's awesome. Little box of assembly tools, USB, and a little cleaning cloth. Oh. So let's see what the manual has to say about setup and start putting all the pieces together. As per the manual's recommendation, I'm going to dig in and get some of these feet so that I have working height to be able to get in and around when I need to plug things in. So it looks to me like you have some options depending on how your workstation is set up. We're going to plug those in, and that gives us a nice amount of clearance. Okay, so let's get things starting to assemble the way that we would have them. So scooch this over top. This thing is absolutely hilarious. The feet on the bottom are absolutely ridiculous to help stop any of that sound from the pump on a vibrating work surface. and it just jiggles. Plugging the air pump in, and this is to adjust the amount of pressure. Then we plug in the air tube, take off this little stopper, and that goes right on there. Next on the docket is the actual laser itself. It feels relatively light. You can feel that it's cold because the aluminum casing has been sitting outside while I've been waiting to collect the package, but it's not as heavy as you would think. And the fact that it's not a super heavy unit is going to work in our favor, as that means the gantry doesn't have to combat a heavy unit. Same principles as FDM printing. So you have your dovetails. Let's see how easy she slots in. Now you will have to adjust this depending on what you're cutting, which is why they've made it easy with just the 2 thumb screws, but we're just going to set it to kind of a general height, and we'll get to it when we start cutting. So we're going to plug this in to the little unit in the back. There we go. So we are taking the air hose that is connected all the way from our air pump, and we are uncovering this little flap on the laser itself, and we're inserting the air hose, which is not in the quick start guide. This part is. This part is not. Now that makes sense why the cable management is the way it is. Because now that I've removed this air hose, I can then put this where the air hose was. Let's get our power plugged in and see if we can fire it up. Okay, so it's the next day and we've moved over into a different room that has some ventilation in it, so we can actually start with some testing. Overnight we did some light reading and found out that by plugging our unit straight into our laptop and running Lightburn, that Lightburn would set up the system for us and we can start immediately with some testing. So with this unit and us being a jewelry and casting channel, obviously the question is, can the Creality Falcon 2 engrave on metal? And we're gonna see if that works out. Obviously, this is just an unboxing and a first impressions, so we're not going to be walking through this tutorial style or doing a full-on review. We're just going to throw some metal samples at it, see what sticks, see what doesn't, and have a great first time using our new engraving machine. So we're going to start out with some copper, but we also have aluminum, brass, and some stainless to test out. So with the engraver, we're going to set the unit to home. It technically is already homed, but this will just make sure that we're reset and ready for the next go. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna click frame. This will show us where on the working area that it thinks this text is. Okay, perfect. So that's within our placement on the working area, so we can go ahead and click start. So I don't think that this unit's going to be able to cut through anything, so we're not going to be trying that as we go through our metal testing, but we are wanting to see what kind of depth we can get on a basic engraving. So that is our copper sample at 600 millimeters per minute at 100% power. Took approximately 8 minutes to get through this at one singular pass. So it's not really an engraving. I can't really feel the difference as I go over it. There's no drag. But let's see if I can buff. Oh, yeah, we can kind of buff it. It's still there. I'm sure if we went at this with our actual buffing wheel, we could get this all out. Maybe a slightly slower speed, multiple passes will get us a little bit of depth in there. Now, knowing that it can actually put some sort of a mark on copper, it should work on brass, but let's give it a try. Okay. Brass is in there. Add in a new one for brass. Okay, we're gonna frame it up, see where we're located on the print bed, located on the engraving. Okay, so that was our brass sample. That was again at 600 millimeters per minute at 100% power. Took a total of 3 minutes because we made the font a little smaller, and you can just barely see it. Rub that off. Oh, this one has a little bit more stain power, despite the fact that it's really fine. But it's not, again, not really doing a whole lot of engraving, so we'll have to fine tune that as well. But let's move on to our last metal sample, which is our stainless steel. Knowing aluminum isn't working the best, I'm really hoping that the steel works so that we can get some cool projects going. So again, same as before, we're going to take out our previous text, add in some new ones. And that is our stainless sample. That is crisp. So if you look at it, you can actually kind of pick up a bit of an engraved area. So this has been the deepest engraving so far out of the samples that we've done. You can actually hear my nail picking up on that engraving. So that's awesome. And that was again at the 600 millimeters per minute at full power at a single pass. So we've greatly reduced the speed on this unit because we knew that it would have a hard time going through this. So we only have it at that 600 millimeters per minute, but it can go up to 25,000 millimeters per minute. So on softer materials, like the wooden samples that was sent along with it, you can just zip through no problem, presumably. Which is why for our next project video, where we're actually going to be going through the whole tutorial process for you guys, showing you how to use this unit, we picked up this gigantic 6 millimeter deep board, and we're going to be showing you how to make full jewelry boxes customized with your logo, with hinges to go along with all of your jewelry. But that's for the next video. So far, first impressions on the Creality Falcon 2. It's working pretty well. The metal tests have been hit or miss, but as we dial in the timing, the power, and the number of passes, I'm sure that we can get some projects that will actually work out for metal. Until we have a full tutorial out on how to engrave metal, make sure you get subscribed so you can see all of our other projects that we're going to be doing with the Creality Falcon 2. Sticker book, because we know we love stickers on this channel.
Stickers.
Stickers!
Stickers!